Hello my friends, I'm Kayla. It's time for my very first quarterly wrap up of 2025. I'm so excited to get into it all. What I want to go through in these seasonal check-ins are my stats in general, the videos that I put out, the books that I read for them, my favorites within each video, and then just my 5 favorites overall from the season, my 5 worst favorites from the season, and then also a community section where I talk about some of my favorite content from the quarter, talk about some of like your comments or your questions or anything we could put into that segment. First up, we're going to talk about stats. So in this quarter, I read 62 books in total. I read, hold on, I have it somewhere, 24 books in January, 23 books in February, and 15 books in March, though that's technically not true because I am doing a little experiment that you'll find out about in a couple weeks. The besties already know. But that is what was technically included in my like monthly wrap-ups. 18,000 pages. My average rating for the first quarter of the year is a 3.57. Now, I'm trying to get to a 3.7 by the end of the year. It feels like a lofty goal. We're not too far off because I haven't had too many incredibly awful reads, but I have had more 4s than 3s. So if we look at that section of the stats, 23 4 stars, 18 3 stars, 5 5 stars, but a couple were rereads, which I don't actually count for my overall average rating of the season or the year. I had 6 2 stars, 2 1-star reads. And then I left 8 unrated because they were erotic fiction, which I don't think is fair to rate because I'm just reading it for the plot, like for the content and not for my own enjoyment. And I just don't think that's fair to rate because like I'm never gonna rate an erotic book like really highly anyway. I did make an agreement with the besties that I was gonna like chill out on romance this year because I keep giving it low ratings. And then I think I accidentally started reading erotica in place of romance and the same problem is happening, but that's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. I listened to 8 audiobooks to completion, 34 physical reads, 20 were a mix of both. I read 34 new authors to me and 21 that I had never read from before. Most of the books that I read in this quarter I bought brand new. Yeah, 9 books off of my physical TBR. I read 62 books this quarter and 9 came from my physical TBR. Like let's work on that. 13 came from the library. That's great. 3 of them were sent to me. 6 were rereads. Then for genres, like I really read so much general fiction. That's where just a lot was going on in there. 15 fantasy, and then 6 erotic books. Like I said, still ended up reading 3 romance somehow. I guess Magnolia Parks, did I count Magnolia Parks as romance or fiction? I don't even know in this moment. 3 mystery thrillers. I need to up that for sure. 3 nonfiction, 5 sci-fi, a graphic novel, a historical. Those are my stats. Do I have any opinions? I guess I shared them. Yeah, things I need to work on, things I need to change a little bit. Overall, I think it's fine. I think it's pretty much on trend with my reading in general. Now let's talk about videos. Videos that I made. All the books that I read are stacked over here. I did 4 episodes of the series where I was reading booktuber favorites, bookstagrammer favorites, book talker favorites, and my members favorites. So that's what this whole stack is and these. I'm not gonna parse it out. I can't even remember in this moment which was which, but I ended up reading a lot. Oh my God, I can't even pick these up. Why did I try? A lot for that. I think these are all allotted to the right videos. If they're not, I don't know, ignore me. And the best things that I read in this video series ended up being Elegy for the Undead, which I gave a high 4. There were a lot of 4s, so I'm not gonna go through all of the 4s, but The Will of the Many was this my first 5-star of the year? I think it was. The Favorites by Lane Fargo, I think I gave a 4, but it feels more like a 4.25, so I'm bumping it up right now. And then, oh yeah, so many 4s. This was a good series. Next year, I'm gonna do it organized by genre rather than social platform. So it's gonna be like the sci-fi episode, book talk versus booktube, like which is the most popular on each platform, something like that. That's my idea. Then there'll be a horror episode and a thriller episode. I think that'll be really fun. Oh, here's the other high rated one. This was a 4.25, Martyr by Kava Akbar. Then I started a new series this year where I participate in my buzzword reading challenge, and every single month I read something for the title challenge and for the cover challenge, which is new this year. So I read 6 books total so far in that reading challenge. And the best thing that I read, I guess, is the Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates book series. Both of these were 4 stars. So I guess we're currently hunting for a 5-star in the Buzzword Reading Challenge videos. I didn't even realize. I did a sentient object romance or just strange erotic. Some of them weren't erotic. They were just like obsessions with objects. The theme was confusing. My favorite thing that I read from here is Sky Daddy, though no 5 stars. I did a video where I was rereading some of my favorites from 10 years ago. I'm missing a couple, but they all went, no, it was a mix. Some I took my rating back from 10 years ago. Some of them I liked the same. The 5-star remained for I'll Give You the Sun, which I definitely needed. Because then I also did a 10 years on my TBR video, and Jandy Nelson did not get the expected 5 that I thought she would. In fact, there were no 5 stars in that video, but Sloppy Firsts definitely pleasantly surprised me. I've definitely been enjoying doing videos where I just read a couple books. It's been really good for me. And so I did this one where I was reading the first 5-star book I saw in my feed and the first 1-star book. I think I'm gonna do another episode maybe on Instagram. It'll be harder to find reviews, but I think that could be fun. Technically, I did read King Baby also that I have in the library stack I need to return, and I'm not counting it towards my reading goal because it's, I don't know, a children's book. But out of these two, my favorite, Wild Dark Shore, 5 stars. Oh my God. And then look at this stack of books that I just read for me. This is what I wanted. I wanted to make sure every single month this year, there was like 3 to 5 books that I was just reading to read, not to make content out of. However, some of these did turn into content. Emily Wild's Compendium of Lost Tales, I did a live show for my channel Besties because it was our book club read. If you want to join my Besties book club, the next reads are these 2 for spring and summer. So if you're interested in either and you want to join a little live show, the link is down below. Speaking of live shows, I also ended up doing one for Witchcraft for Weird Girls by Grady Hendrix because this was the book club pick, Literally Dead book club for February. And my book club reads are going good this year. I gave both of those 4 stars. My favorite thing that I read, not specifically for videos, was One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar El-Akkad. Though, The Butcher of the Forest, 4.25 again. Oh, just kidding. And the other nonfiction, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. So those were my videos, and now we get into my favorites, though I did just tell you what a bunch of my favorites were. So, and now I have marks all over my chest because my skin is sensitive, and how dare I touch books against them. So the brief rundown of my favorites is my 2 favorite nonfictions were right here. They both had to do with the author's like real life and opinions on the world, but also were muchly centered on Palestine, the genocide happening in Palestine. I think they're informative, but these shouldn't be the only things that you're reading regarding the subject, especially you should be reading from Palestinian authors if you've never read anything in this arena. You know, histories and stuff like that. These were more think pieces and personal grapplings with a lot of things that the West has done. I think my #1 favorite of the season is Wild Dark Shore because it made me cry. That's like automatically 5 stars. Well, not always actually, but in this case it was. And like the comments were asking me on the video where I read this, does this officially solidify Charlotte McConaughey as an all-time favorite? And it does. There is a small list of authors that have hit 3 5-star reads or 4.5 or 5-star reads, and she is now one of them. I was really worried because like there is a chance that I read something from a beloved author and then it just flops, but this was perfect. I don't think it'll work for absolutely everybody. There is a bit of a different emotional impact that this has compared to her other 2. There's a mix of feel good and sadness, but it does lean towards a little more tragic in some ways. And really every single person in here is going through it, and there are reveals regarding each person that not every reader is going to love. So this small family is living on an island taking care of a seed vault as the world is, you know, dealing with climate change. They're about to leave or they're getting ready to like start a new life and find out like what they're gonna do with the rest of their lives with how the world looks. And a woman washes ashore and she realizes that the family has secrets and she has some of her own, and they come together and they fall apart. Then The Will of the Many by James Islington, which of course is the one that I read the longest ago, so I do remember the least about. Like, I don't know if I could give a really good pitch for this. I think the easy one is just that there is a character who is gonna start to attend a school put there by somebody who is like powerful and has a goal to send him there and things that he's going to accomplish, and he has like these secrets he has to keep to accomplish this goal, but then he actually has secrets of his own. So it's an academy book. There is murder, there's magic, and I feel so unworthy to have received this package, but the publisher sent me a little preview of the novel, the next novel in this series. It came with a little puzzle to put together, and I was one of the first people to see the cover, the official cover of the next book, which is just so crazy. I think it's because I read it so recently and I've been hyping it up and talking about it on a lot of different platforms, but there have been people who've been hyping up this series for years. And I know so many of them did also get the teaser, but not like everybody. So I am gonna make sure I pass this along to somebody. I haven't read it yet. I haven't felt prepared yet to dive back into the world because this left on such a cliffhanger, and like the series could really shift like what is even going on in this world. And the next book doesn't come out for so many months that like, I'm just gonna hold on to it for a minute, and I'll be sure to let you know my first impressions in my next monthly wrap up. Or a vlog. If I can think of a vlog to slip it into, I will. So that's it for new 5 stars. And like, I feel good about it. I'm glad I had some. I wish I had more. These 2 were really close, but they just didn't have the perfect ending for me to end up giving it a 5. Martyr is about a man who is grappling with if his life has meaning and how he can make meaning out of his death, and he goes on a series of interviews and learnings from various people who are martyrs in their own right or doing research on them. He learns some things, there's some reveals. The big reveal like wasn't my favorite thing, but I understand the purpose of it. And then The Butcher of the Forest by Primi Muhammad is like a little horror tinged fantasy where a woman goes into a forest and has to save some children and, I don't know, learn some things. Beautifully written. Want to read more from this author. Those are my favorites. Now, my least favorites. Let's roast some books real quick. In the 5th spot, I'm gonna put No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. This was just a really disappointing mystery. I felt like everything was really simplistic, really predictable. And then there was a tone switch where it turned into just like this wild thriller that kind of made no sense, and all of the reveals were ridiculous but not in a fun way. So I think I gave this a 1. And now I'm wondering if that's a little bit harsh. I gave a 2, I think, to The Wood at Midwinter, just because like this is beautiful in so many ways, like the illustrations, but it's not what I thought it was. I should have flipped through it at the bookstore because like the actual story is nothing. Like there is very little content and substance, and I don't love looking at pictures enough to have enjoyed that enough to make up for the fact that the story was about nothing. It was like a woman goes into the forest and then the forest and then that's it. In the 3rd position, I'm gonna put Water Moon by Samantha Sato Yambao. I did a live show discussion with my channel besties about this, and a lot of us really disliked it. There were some people who loved it, and it's so beautiful. It's frustrating that I didn't like it, but the idea of this pawn shop is so much more interesting than the actual book itself. Like the synopsis and the idea you can go in and sell your regrets, and then these people who fall in love have to go into this journey to discover something. Like the love between them was so fast. I didn't like it. I didn't buy it at all. The pace that the book was told in, the dialogue, like it disappointed me. I was so sad about it because I shouldn't have set my expectations so high. I think I gave it a 2.5. Then technically I didn't rate these. I'm trying to decide which one I hated more. Both of them, the concept of being an erotic story with an object is like intriguing. It's a snowman and a door. But then both of them, because this is the purpose of a sentient object romance, is they like magically turn into men. And as soon as that happened, I got the ick, and I was like, I don't like these men. They're very overbearing. They're very like pushy. These women are in vulnerable positions. This doorman has been watching her for years. This snowman just like breaks into her house, and like, yes, the women are interested in engaging in the sexual relationships present, but I didn't want to read them once they turned into men. So I didn't rate them, but if I did, they would be low. Then my least favorite book this is gonna be my least favorite book of the year, for sure. Not even the quarter, like this is it. The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I should have looked into this author and the other things that she's written under a different name, and like looking at the covers and reading the synopses of these, I would have already known that this author wasn't for me. The actual prose in here, the writing of the book itself, I struggled with so much. There's a book inside the book that could have added something, but it didn't. There are so many uncomfortable relationships that I respect other people for thinking are like beautiful. And then everything introduced, like the games they were gonna play, coming to this house, like all of these former children who had some bad experiences came to this like writer's home. The games like and the riddles were either way too easy or they didn't go as far as I wanted into an actual game. And then the character at the focus of the book didn't learn any lessons. Like she didn't have any growth and she still got everything she wanted in the end. And I think that was a really frustrating reading experience because I thought she was being introduced to us as a flawed character, but in hindsight, I think we were supposed to just be on board with all of her personality and quirks, and I was not. V. Schwab blurbed this? How did I never see that before? That's crazy. Okay, what's next? Oh, creator videos. I want to talk about creator videos because I watch a lot of BookTube, and this was a tough quarter. I feel like BookTube's in a slump. And that's not a diss to anybody because I'm included in that. I just think content-wise, the most creative stuff is not coming out of people right now. And I think the world is on fire and that's why. But I also think people are desperately searching for entertainment because the world is on fire. And also it's the beginning of the year and it kicks off with a lot of people like reading favorites from the year prior, which is my favorite content. So the first things I want to recommend you watch, and I'll link down below, are Bria and Mayana doing versions of reading booktuber favorites. Not just because I was mentioned in them, but because I really liked all the books that they covered in their videos and hearing their thoughts. They were some of my favorite to watch. And since then, I haven't seen a lot of like interesting content. So I would love for this to be an opportunity for you to recommend me some interesting videos that you have loved. I just want more like experimental vlogs, and there was a time on BookTube where there was so much of it, and now I feel like there's so much of the same stuff, and that's great because people are making what they want. It's like everything is a cozy reading vlog, or everything is like reading the books off of my TBR, reading my most anticipated reads, which is good. Like those are good vlogs, but they're not like the super exciting like random things that people have come up with. Don't get me wrong, I tune into the videos where people are doing like a spinning wheel that decides something, or reading for 24 hours, and all of those I watch, but I'm desperately searching for like the really creative reading vlog ideas. And hopefully I will post some of my own in the upcoming months because I'm also struggling with creativity. My friend Megan did one where she went to, what was it called? It's like a book spa where she met with this person. He does this, like these one-on-one book recommendations. You sit down, you tell him all your favorite books, and there's like various people who you get to talk to and get recommendations from, and they like sell you these books and really take your preferences into account. And it's such a good video. The interview is like lengthy and there was just so much juicy stuff in there, and I really loved that. Gavin is doing a library challenge this year, so if you haven't tuned into the first episode of that, he's gotten some booktuber recommendations and then he goes to the library. Love any video that supports the local libraries. Jan has been doing this series of Do Your Worst. I think it was the first episode, right? Because we read each other's least favorites, and then she has taken it off into a whole series of reading other booktubers' least favorites because she doesn't align with so many people's tastes. And I've loved following along that series journey. Oh, and then as far as sit-down videos, Bree did one going through all Tananarive books and recommending which ones you might like and like explaining all of them. So if you've heard of that author from my channel and you want an idea of where to go with her books, she's one of my all-time favorite authors, definitely check that video out. And then I've been watching a lot of Literary Mad Max, who I discovered on Book Talk, and she was featured in a Book Talk episode of Reading Favorites. But she's been doing these great like recommendation videos. If you liked this, read this. There was a movie one, I think, where she was talking about movies and books related to it, and she's talking about so many books that I'm interested in that I just don't see a lot of other places. So I will link all of those down below. Okay, and then as far as other community stuff, I just have taken screenshots anytime I think there's a question that I think would be good for me to answer. Even if I answered it in the comments, I thought maybe I would also pop it in here, or like the kind of things that we have been, I don't know, chatting about. Somebody asked about the pace of The Will of the Many, and I think I'm having a hard time like really remembering at this point if I think it had a slow start, and I would recommend persevering if you didn't like the beginning. But in my recollection, it has the same pace the entire time. It reminded me of reading Babel. So if you considered Babel having a slower pace and then it sped up, then I guess The Will of the Many does as well. But I felt pretty consistent with what was happening because I was interested from the beginning. But maybe if I watched back on the vlog, I would have better insight. So I probably shouldn't have pulled that question, but I think it was the only like bookish one that I actually got. Oh, there was one video where I posted about my old TBR shelf and we went through it all, and I accidentally marked What did I mark? I still don't know. How did you read Eclipse and not New Moon? Okay, so apparently New Moon is the second book, and I accidentally marked it as I read Twilight and New Moon because I thought that was the second book. In fact, I've read Twilight and Eclipse. So anybody in the comments, there were so many comments concerned about how I read Twilight. I only read the first two books. I just marked it wrong. Somebody asked about my sweater, my Frog and Toad sweater. I'm pretty sure I got that from Etsy. So wherever it's from, I'm gonna pop it on the screen right now so you know where I got it from. Oh, people were saying the song choices in my Sentient Object Romance video were really fun, so thank you for all of those comments. I had a really fun time picking out the best songs that kind of represented the weird things that were going on. Oh, also in that video, somebody informed me in the comments that the chocolate in the book, his name is Theo, and I was wondering why his name was Theo because it seems so random. And apparently bromine is a major component of cacao or cocoa. So I learned something from the comments and I just wanted to make sure I shouted out that community member. I am now educated. Apparently I dropped new lore that I have a brother. I wanted to acknowledge that that's a thing. He's 3 years older than me. You'll probably never hear about him again. But here we are reading a book together. How cute. Oh, somebody commented this and I was just surprised by the amount of likes on it. So I thought the 61 people who might be here who want to hear my response to this, the answer is no, I'm not going to do it because I don't know what you mean and how you think this would work. So I did a guessing my members' favorites. They listed like their 20 favorite books and I put together a list of the top 30 mentioned books. And somebody commented and said, please give info on the least popular of the list. But here's the thing. If there are 800 people and they each submitted 20 books, there are 16,000 books on the spreadsheet. So I would bet there's like 10,000 books on the spreadsheet that are only ever mentioned one time. So I don't know how I would give you that list. I'm so sorry. Unless I'm misunderstanding the question, maybe like lesser mentioned things but are still on the spreadsheet like 2 or 3 times. I don't know. But I'm open to any info, any stats you want from that spreadsheet. I will gift that. I think I'm gonna do a besties video where I really dive into some random stats, but I don't think I can do this one. I'm so sorry, but I love you. Oh, a lot of people were correcting me about the cover of the new Neil Sharpson because I said I don't want to read about like wolves or werewolves, and just upon instant look at the cover, it looked like a wolf to me. Apparently it's a sea lion, and thank you for the comments. I do now see that it's a sea lion. Also, I wanted to let you all know, Neil Sharpson commented on one of my videos and said, I would like you to know Knock Knock Open Wide is finally getting an audiobook this summer. I have been campaigning for Knock Knock Open Wide. You guys have been reading it. I don't know if it's because of us that we're showing enough interest in the book's existence already that they thought, okay, we'll put in the money for an audiobook, or I don't know if it's just like a thing that happened and we're just so lucky to be getting it and it was always supposed to come out in summer, but we're getting it. I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. I cannot wait. Oh my God. It was one of my favorites of last year. What? Oh my God, these are so small on my phone. Oh, people were commenting on the ads they were getting on my Sentient Romance vlog, and some of them were very strange. One of them was about deodorant that was like set on a plane while I was reading the plane book. And then one person got an ad about a sentient smartphone during that video, and that was crazy. I wanna say something about ads really quick. If you notice more ads on my videos coming up, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. YouTube is doing this thing where they aren't letting me anymore, or YouTubers in general, choose where our ads are. So you know how sometimes I'll be like talking and I'll be like about to read something and you'll see an ad because it makes you watch the ad and then you see like what I was about to say. I can't do that anymore because YouTube prioritizes ads that happen in natural breaks during videos, and so like as if it was a commercial break in a TV show, so at a point where it would feel like a natural progression from one scene to another. So that's also why I'm now putting these little title screens in sit-down videos, because that way YouTube will see that there's a natural break point so I can put an ad. Because if I don't have anything and I'm just sitting here hauling a bunch of books, they won't let me put ads on those videos. I've gotten denied for so many ads, and now so many of my videos don't make money anymore. And I can put it to like automatically choose ads, and then I'll go back and I'll check a couple days later to see where they decided to put the ads, and they just didn't put any because there's no natural breaks. So I'm hoping that the title screens I'm putting in helps, because it does work in the vlogs. That's the only place I can put ads in vlogs. I know a lot of people, I'm sure most people like don't like ads at all. Unfortunately, that's you know, these have to be income generating in a little bit for me to put as many as I do out. Anyway, awkward conversation over. Okay, actually a lot of people commented about death of the author, and I'm just pulling up Gabby's comment, which isn't a perfect example, but she was talking about like being excited to read it, and a lot of people commented and said like they were glad that I readjusted their expectations. And I want to take one extra second to talk about this, because the original pitch of it makes it sound so much more sci-fi and strange, and like a person is writing a book and it's affecting the world. And when I did my review of it, I talked about how that's not exactly what this book is. And I stand by that because I do think you just need to enjoy general fiction to enjoy this. Factually, that's what I would say. The #1 reader of this should be people who love general fiction and just want to follow a person on their life journey. However, I feel like in fear of spoiling anything, I left out the fact that there is a weird element of this book. Like, there is a science fiction element and there is something strange, and it was something really ambitious by this author. And I fear the way I spoke about it, I didn't give her her proper flowers, because this book, something is strange about it. It's just not the plot itself. So you do need to enjoy it as a general fiction, but there is a payoff and there's something weird a little bit happening. So I still do recommend it to like the sci-fi weird girl readers too. Thank you for letting me take that moment to clarify. Oh, somebody asked me what curling iron I use, and I'm happy to answer. I use, should I hold these up in this way? I use 2 different curling irons. This one is the Remington Shine Therapy. It's a 1.5 to 1 inch tapered one. If my curls look like this, that's what I'm using. If my curls look like a little looser, especially my bangs when they do like that lovely swoop, it's because I was using the Infinity Pro by Conair. This comes with 3 different wands, and this is the 1.5 inch all around instead of tapering. Gonna put that down. I love how that one looks so much more, but my curls don't hold when I just do a 1.5 inch barrel. I have to do this one for them to last. Why are they flesh toned? Oh, and then I got a lot of comments talking about how I refuse to read Crime and Punishment, and the amount of likes on those comments, apparently I need to make Crime and Punishment a thing. Everyone was really shocked at my couch reveal of all the books that I've been hiding under my couch. So thank you for making me feel terrible about that, because yes, I have run out of shelf space. It's a fact, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. So books are now under my couch. Books are everywhere. They're breaking out of the seams. Okay, and then a lot of people are talking about how I need to clear out my closet. And I disagree. Yes, I have too many books, but I do go through the closet, I would say like a couple times a year. I do get rid of stuff, and that time has come around. And yes, I do agree that it's like a good spring cleaning, and it will happen regardless of putting it on camera, but because enough people commented about how satisfying it would feel for me to clean it out a little bit, I will do that for you this upcoming month. Oh, and then I got so many opinions about Catalina. I shared in a recent video the covers of this book because it came out in paperback, and I was like, you guys need to help me decide, do I buy the hardcover or the paperback? You all hate the paperback. I never saw it coming. I think it's so fun. I think it's so good. And I love the Art Deco green and gold, like I said, but I think because nobody is liking the paperback, I'm gonna buy the paperback. And I think that's all the comments that I wanted to highlight. I wanted to appreciate you for being here, educating me on things, giving your comments on things, helping me decide what to do with my content. All of your engagement means so much to me. You guys are constantly in my comments. Like, your comments are funny, they're educational, they're so kind, and I just feel really grateful for this community that I have here, because I know it doesn't exist for everybody, and I just wanted to have a little community section of my quarterly videos. I don't know if any of this made sense, but hopefully YouTube liked it, because I organized it into different sections and there were natural breaks where I could place an ad or two. Hopefully you watched them. Love you so much as a friend, as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!